ॐ भद्रं कर्णेभिः शृणुयाम देवाः भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभिर्यजत्राः स्थिरैरङ्गैः स्तुष्टुवागुंसस्तनूभिः व्यशेम देवहितं यदायुः स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो वृद्धश्रवाः स्वस्ति न पूषा विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति नस्तार्क्ष्यो अरिष्टनेमिः स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्दधातु ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः. The idea of presenting a webinar on insights from Upanishads into emotional intelligence is twofold. One, of course, is in general, we wish to explore and find what a wide range of topics are covered in the Upanishads. The Upanishads are an unbelievable treasure house of lots of valuable guidance on various facets of human life. In spite of their being very ancient, these Upanishads are unbelievably relevant in modern times too. The second idea is to specifically show that Upanishads are not about only developing logical abilities or head-oriented skills. A careful study of the Vedanta, where some of us may even skip those portions which are hard from philosophical point of view, just imbibe, just take in those teachings which give to us certain different perspectives towards life. We'll see that there are mantras scattered across the more than 100 Upanishads which have a bearing upon developing a better understanding, a broader angle of view towards life, which is what EQ is about. Needless to say, lots of people who might be excellent in their academics, who might have got even gold medals in universities and so on, do not so much succeed, leave alone their personal life. Professions also sometimes they don't go as high as they want to because mere subject knowledge, mere technical know-how cannot take us too far. That's how somewhere from the 1990s there has been wide acceptance of the need for enhanced emotional intelligence around the world. Before that also there was some recognition, but after Daniel Goleman wrote a number of articles in some newspaper in the West and then made them into a book, the EQ, how it matters or something like that. His book on emotional intelligence was a trailblazer. Since then, mid-90s or so, there has been tremendous interest. Today, nobody disputes the fact that all of us have to grow holistically. Just to be a master of some subject, just to have terrific memory, just to have all kinds of information on our fingertips is neither of much help to others nor can give us much peace of mind. With that, let's go into a few slides which will help me put across my ideas better. So here I am trying to open some slides. Yeah. Emotional intelligence, some insights from the Upanishads. I will not waste time on explaining what are Upanishads. I am confident all of you have some amount, if not a very good amount, of exposure to these sacred works of India, of ancient India. So we go straight to the slide, which asks the question, what is this dichotomy IQ, EQ all about? Just talk about IQ and get going, someone may say impatiently. But IQ is logical intelligence, head oriented, may help a lot in a whole lot of functional areas. Very complicated jobs also one may be able to do with high IQ. One may impress people, one may break world records, one may dazzle in a certain area of life, but life as a whole, not only for oneself but for the society, will be a far greater blessing if one has high EQ. Intelligence is related to emotions. Never make the mistake of imagining that those who are very emotional must be having high emotional quotient. Shiva Shiva. It is not about having lots of emotions. It is about understanding emotions, one's own or others. It's about dealing with emotions. It's about navigating through emotions. It's such skills where we find somebody a little depressed. Do we have some ways of cheering her up? Some other time somebody is overexcited. Do we have mature ways of bringing him around and help him behave in a more balanced manner? It is about, let's say, we are getting some suicidal thoughts. Do we have the intelligence to manage those negative thoughts, come out of them at the earliest, and get going with things to be done, neither harming ourselves nor hurting anybody? So it's not about having emotions, which of course all of us do have, but it's about understanding and handling emotions. Let's be totally clear about the basic definition of emotional intelligence. When it is measured as per standard norms, you get a figure of it. and that figure is emotional quotient. 100 is the emotional quotient of an average human being. And there are lots of people who have below average emotional intelligence or below EQ, and there are quite a few who have above average emotional quotient. And it is those who have above average, that means above 100 EQ, who indeed have a far better life from a holistic 360-degree way of understanding. If we don't have EQ, as the second bullet says, we will not be balanced. We are good in some areas but terrible in some other areas. We are admired here but kept away or avoided somewhere else. Some eyebrows go up, appreciating what we have to offer to the society or anybody, and many others frown at the very sight of us. That means we have a lopsided growth. What we want, as the third bullet shows here, is holistic excellence. We don't want to be on top in everything. In fact, it's not necessary for everybody to be on top of even one area. It's good to have a balanced but fairly rich amount of skills in various domains of our life, dealing with family, dealing with society, dealing with on the work front, dealing with financial challenges, dealing with legal issues when they come up, dealing with enemies, dealing with friends, judging whom to get close to, and judging with whom we better keep a distance. And if we decide to keep a distance, what is the appropriate way to do that? All this comes under higher EQ. So we see in the next slide, we have a quick question. Where are insights into EQ found in the Upanishads? How can Upanishads have all these topics? Some of you may wonder, Upanishads are about Brahmajnana, about Atmajnana. Upanishads are about rising above everything, going beyond everything. And where do they have the time? Where are the mantras which talk about emotions? I would say there are three areas or three kinds of mantras in different Upanishads which do touch upon EQ or emotional intelligence. Of course, emotional intelligence is a stepping stone to self realization, and the main theme of Upanishads undoubtedly is self realization, self knowledge, Atmajnana. And Atmajnana is not opposed to high EQ. On the contrary, Atmajnana would accommodate, would have high EQ, almost like a side product. All of us know how self realized saints were so compassionate, not at all idiotic or stupid. They did deal with wide range of situations with great skill. Of course, among self-realized saints also there are varieties. Everybody need not go into everything. Every saint doesn't have to give lectures. Every saint doesn't have to compose devotional poems or something. Every saint doesn't have to know Sanskrit. So there is variety. But that apart, essentially, all self-realized masters, great ladies and men who knew the truth of their existence had very broad angles of view. They looked at people with impartial eyes. So the three kinds of sections or portions where we find some insights into emotional intelligence in the Upanishads are: number one, there are number of characters coming in the stories that create the framework for beautiful teachings. In number of Upanishads, we have various characters. Ladies also, Maitreyi, Gargi, and such ladies also appear in some of the Upanishads. Shaunaka, Angirasa, Pippalada, his six disciples, Yajnavalkya, Janaka, Haridrumata, his disciple Satyakama Jabala, and you have Draptabalaki, who goes to a king called Ajatashatru. Everywhere there are interesting stories. Gods, demons, human beings all come on the stage to play out their roles. We have Indra, king of Devatas, Virochana, the king of Asuras, both going to Prajapati for getting the highest wisdom. So we have rishis, munis, ordinary people. We have Sanat Kumara, a rishi who ever remains young. He teaches Narada. We have Shvetaketu who learns from his father Uddalaka, so on and so forth. The Upanishads are replete with very inspiring stories, and in the conduct of certain characters, we find, wow, I must learn from him. I must learn from her. She has so much of high EQ. Therefore, it is characters in the stories. Number two, there are specific instructions. In Chandogya Upanishad, Sanat Kumara says to Narada, before you realize the supreme Brahman, which is called Bhuma over there, develop varieties of inner qualities. I'm giving just two examples. At certain place, he says, develop dhyana. Train your mind not to run hither and thither, not to go helter skelter. Train your mind to focus, to concentrate. Dhyanam upasva. Then, in the same portion, as an example, Sanat Kumara says, our life becomes sublime when we have great aspirations. Asha. Asha is something where we say, hey, I want to do this for this world. I want to leave the world a little better place than how it was when I had come. And so on. Swami Taponam said to Swami Chinmayanandaji, hey, don't go to the plains. It is a maya, it is all distracting. Stay in the Himalayas. But Swami Chinmayanandaji had a great asha, aspiration. So he said, looking at Ganga flowing from the Himalayas to the plains, Puja Swami Chinmayanandaji thought, I should be like Ganga. I received this great wisdom from these rishis, Shivananda, Swami Tapovanam, and so on, and I must take it to the plains. I must take it to nook and corner of this country and abroad. So that is Asha. That Asha fueled him to become a great missionary, guru, and so on. So possess Asha, says Sanat Kumar. So these are instructions. There are very many like that. And then in the third category, it is certain description. It is certain light thrown on what our faculties are. We have Antakarana. And in Brihadaranyaka Upanishad 153, as I have given the number, we have a long list of components of Antakarana. That is, we call inner equipment. Generally, we say Antakarana means, well, it is Mana Buddhi Chitta Ahankara. But Brihadaranyaka says it is Kamaha, Sankalpaha, Vichikitsa, Shraddha, Ashraddha, Dhritihi, Adhritihi. There's a list of some 11 or 12 components of Antakarana. And when we study, we realize, yes, I have all this. At times I'm unable to hold back a desire. Some other time I'm filled with doubts. Vichikitsa means doubt. Some other time I find such willpower in me, sankalpaha. Sometimes I have shraddha, such faith, such trusting disposition. Some other time it is ashraddha. I don't trust anybody. I don't believe in anything at times. Oh, that's a long sentence that is taken by Prakarana Granthas also. Kama Sankalpa, Shraddha, Shraddhe, Dhriti, Tare, Hrir, Dhir, Bhir, Ityevamadi. Rishi Viveka says, Rihi, modesty. Sometimes we feel very modest and we lie low. Some other time we want to project ourselves. What is going on? What are these tendencies in us? All these come to light when we study such portions as the first chapter, fifth Brahmana, third mantra in Brihadaranyaka goes. So there are these three, and it's up to us to next words, okay, to contemplate on them. In today's world, so much literature has come about on emotional intelligence. Some talk about 20 components, some talk about 7, some talk about 5. There are very many. So let's take a look at 4 or 5. Self awareness has been given a prominent place among scholars on emotional intelligence. Awareness. When you are angry, are you aware you are getting hot? You are getting so red in emotions. Are you aware that you are getting destructive? Or you just go on an autopilot mode and later regret, I should not have got angry. Whether it is anger or desire or envy, it's one thing to be envious, but another to be aware of that envy, and as J. Krishnamurti would say, to be aware of the structure of thought. He always said, no thought is a monolith. Well, he used some other words. No thought is just uniform. It has a structure. It has a cause. It has some background. It has some beliefs holding that thought up and active. Are you aware of what beliefs, what conditionings, what influences in your life have made such a desire rise again and again? And these desires sometimes throw you off balance. What is the genesis of such a desire in your life? So one is aware, self-awareness. That's a component of emotional intelligence. Motivation with regard to oneself or to others. Somebody is depressed, doesn't feel like doing anything. How will you cheer him up? By advising, he may continue not to do anything. In addition, he will start disliking you. Many a time that is our frustration. You try to advise somebody, no change in them. Only difference is they don't want to come anywhere near us now. So, what is the art of motivation? How do we have empathy, which is, as another slide will show, one step further to sympathy? Self regulation. In another book I studied many years ago, this was called impulse control. Impulse control. Do we have impulse control? Many gold medalists, many brilliant people don't have impulse control at all. They have bad habits in their life. They are brilliant in some subject, even later in professional life also. But they cannot stop smoking or alcohol or some other. And in the process, they mess up their life so much. That is a clear case of high IQ, especially in a certain field of knowledge, but very poor EQ. They are worse than an immature child. Why can't they just say this smoking is doing harm to me? If not give up, I'll definitely be moderate. Not more than 5 a day, not more than whatever some number let them put. No, they just can't. No self regulation. And as Goldman himself had said in his early writings, a very important skill in emotional intelligence is social skills. Don't shut the door and do work by yourself. Meet people, contact, communicate, be open, give when you have to give, receive when you have to receive. Don't make it an issue of prestige. I don't want to take anything from anybody. I'm a giver. That is another bad side of some ego. Sometimes we have to give, sometimes we have to receive, and building teams and so on. There are many more skills of that kind. So we will take a look at some instances where Upanishads guide us. Talking of self awareness, I'm sure there are many of different levels, but I was struck by the example of Rishi Vamadeva, who, before even coming out of his mother's womb, was so aware of what was happening to him. He felt his presence in mother's womb and he felt the sense of that limited I, which, as you know, according to Vedanta, is false. Jiva Bhava with limitations is false. Brahma Bhava, where one knows oneself to be the unbound and unbounded Satchit Ananda Tattva, is the truth. But we struggle all through our life. We are left only with words and words. We don't have a way out of this prison of our own thoughts. Describing ourselves, I am son of so and so, I have such and such qualification, these are my strengths, those are my weaknesses, I lost out there, I won here. So many descriptions, and that's called psychological bondage. And Vamadeva, thanks to his previous lives and so much sadhana he had done before, right in mother's womb, realized that there are a number of emotions which do not make it easy for me to break the shell of individuality. They are like iron cage. He calls them bars of an iron cage. And there was no real steel or iron. It is thoughts. It is your thought that you are better than others, which is one kind of bondage. Some other time it is your thoughts. You are nowhere compared with others. They are all ahead and you are lagging behind. What a wretched life yours is. How unfortunate you are. Such thoughts. Thoughts limit us. And thoughts are the iron bars of a cage. And Vamadeva, through intense self inquiry, he asked, who am I? Am I what these thoughts are declaring me to be? These thoughts are deceiving me. These thoughts are creating an illusion. I am not the limited truth. I am unlimited. Therefore, in Aitareya Upanishad of Rigveda, we have Vamadeva saying, 100 rods of iron held me captive. Second chapter, first khanda, fifth mantra. And he broke through them all like a falcon moving ahead, moving fast in its chosen direction, despite obstacles of any kind. Every enlightened being at a certain point in her or his life does that. They break through the last binding factors. Mind then finally is put in its place. Mind doesn't limit you. You have a mind, but the mind doesn't limit you. You have that insight, that intuitive understanding. I am the light that illumines the mind. So, self awareness at its peak is given in Rigveda's Aitareya Upanishad in the mouth of Rishi Vamadeva. Let's talk about self-regulation. What can be a better example than Nachiketa, who was tempted? If Lord Yama placed before him so many temptations. Ask for long life. Ask for whole earth, all the wealth in the earth. Ask for terrific health. Ask for several free trips to heaven to enjoy it all and come back. Servants, men and women, to be at your beck and call. Be a king. 100 things, 1,000 things. Don't ask for this self knowledge. Somebody confused you. Leave it. It's not for you. But Nachiketa says, I do not want these enjoyments. He has impulse control. See, I may be a wonderful economist. I may be another Amartya Sen, economics or such. But suppose I don't have control on my tongue, some delicacy comes before me. I have to have one. Sweets or savories or some. And as Viveka Chudamani says, in nature there are animals or birds who, having a weakness in one of their five sense organs, meets with its death because of that weakness. Whereas we human beings have weaknesses of all the five sense organs. Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha. And we are attached to typically all five of them. And as though that is not enough, we are attached to our status, we are attached to our image, we are attached to, oh, how many things. But through true spirituality, we can break free of habits. After all, they are bad habits only. Psychological. Our biology is not a problem, but our psychology makes us suffer in so many ways. If we can regulate our impulses, as Ekanath Ishwaran would say, stop one bite before you are full. He is very considerate. One bite before you are full. Small victories lead to big victories, he says. So his literature, Eknath Ishwaran, originally of Palakkad, but who later lived in San Francisco Bay Area, later moved north of San Francisco and founded that Blue Mountain Center for Meditation, Nilgiri Press, and so on. He left behind a great legacy of wonderful books on Gita, Upanishads, Dhammapada, some Christian mystical literature, and so on. So Ishwaran, he says, train your senses. You can train your senses. Our life will be such a wonderful thing when we train our mind, our senses slowly. We just guide them. After all, they fell into some bad habit. They can be pulled out of those bad habits. So Nachiketa's behavior can be an example of tremendous impulse control, self-regulation. I'm sure he considered accepting one of the offers of Yama, but then quickly said, no, no, no. As the last sentence says here, one more time. I want that boon only, he says. In the 27th mantra of the very first Valli, he says, Varaha saeva varaniyaha. I want that vara, that varam, that boon only. So there are many others also of that kind. Talking of a third component, after self-awareness and self-regulation, we have motivation. The mantra which Vivekananda made very popular around the world appears in the Kathopanishad. Uttishtata, Jagrata, Prapya Varan, Nibodata. In various ways, we find the Upanishad mantras. Sometimes Vidhi Rupa, do this, do that. Some other places, Upanishads do have mantras which say, don't do that, don't do that. Go for Shreyas, do not go for Preyas. You are having life which is like a journey by a chariot driven by a few horses. Your indriyas are like horses, they need to be trained, otherwise, the indriyas will take you in some wrong direction. The reins or the bridle which you hold, which the charioteer holds, are the mind. And who is the charioteer? Buddhim tu sarathim vidhi. Your intellect, if it has attended lot of satsangs with attention, simply attending satsangs can make you more mechanical than before. You and I should, both teachers and students, should involve in spiritual study, scriptural study, with a certain alertness. We should ask ourselves, oh, something is said here. Does it apply to my life? If yes, how? How I can understand this mantra, and in the light of this mantra, what change I can visualize in my life? Then certainly satsangs can make our intellect, which is the driver becomes a more experienced, mature, well-informed driver, Sarathi. So these are given. Vivekananda took arise, awake, go to eminent teachers and know the truth. Uttishtata Jagrata Prapya Varan Nibodata. He changed it. Arise, awake, stop not till the goal is reached. So through stories, through instructions, through some other analysis, in several ways, the Upanishads motivate us. Then there is empathy. There are again many instances, but quickly I share one example. But before that, what's the difference between sympathy and empathy? In sympathy, A and B are sitting together. B is having some problem. B is suffering. And A sort of intellectually understands, not that his mind is wandering much, but he understands and says the right politically correct words. I know how you feel. I feel sorry for you. Get well soon. Hope your problem is solved. You may, A may even make right facial expressions, etc. But in a heart of hearts, he doesn't actually feel what B is feeling. In empathy, like this written here, I feel how you feel. I know what you are going through. I can experience that vicariously right inside me. So empathy is one step further to sympathy. So it is said in Aitareya Upanishad, in the famous portion called as Convocation Address, Vedamanuchacharyonte vasina manushasti satyam vada dharman chara swadhyaya pramadaha. You know that portion. Acharya priyam dhanamahritya prajatantum ma vyavachetsi satyana pramaditavyam dharman, etc. Towards a little towards the end of that portion, it is said, whenever you have some vichikitsa, doubt about what is right, dharma, what is dharma here, what is adharma here, or you have vritta, what is the correct conduct, vritta is character, conduct. One is just to understand conceptually, another is actually to do. on both levels. Atate dharma vichikitsa va vritta vichikitsa va syat. And you are not able to figure out by yourself. Then in your locality, around you, there must be other scholars, other pious people. Do not hesitate to seek their advice. And to describe those people whom, let's say, we are supposed to go and consult, the Upanishad says an expression. They should be pious, they should have their own good achara, they behave well, they conduct themselves well. And then there is a word, aluksha dharma kamasyuhu. Ensure that they are aluksha. In Sanskrit, there is a word, ruksha. In 17th chapter Gita also, talking about Rajasic food, that word ruksha is used. Ruksha vidahinaha, burning, very spicy food. Ruksha. Ruksha itself is luksha because ralayo rabedaha, there is a rule. Sometimes ra becomes la. Luksha. Luksha means harsh, cruel. On a small matter, you go very hard on, let's say, a defaulter. Somebody commits a mistake, very hard. The advice given is consult such elders, such seniors, such ladies and men around who are not harsh. Alukshaha dharma kamasyu. It's repeated. It comes twice in that portion. Therefore, being truly attentive, trying to feel, as Stephen Covey puts it, can you stand in the shoes of the other person? In fact, he puts another expression. You should be able to read the emotions of the person who is suffering in some way. Like reading a book, you should read those emotions. This is exactly what she is going through or what he is going through. So there is this expression too. And then again, a few more. In fact, among the five we showed, social skills is the last, but I have a couple of more things to say. There is a very famous mantra, not from Upanishads, but we can take it along with these others. Sangachadvam samvadadvam samvo manansi janata. There are many more lines. It is sung. If you go to YouTube and put Sangachadvam samvadadvam, many have sung in school functions, in cultural programs. People sing. Anyway, that's music and dance and singing apart. What is that mantra? It talks about developing social skills. Sangachadvam, go together, walk together, samvadadvam, speak in one voice, resolve, sort out your differences. Samvo manansi janata. May all your minds, the minds of all of you, come to one understanding. And this instruction is in the direction of unity, harmony, cooperation, and shared purpose. It's a call for people to unite, communicate openly, and work towards common goals. It encourages a spirit of collaboration and mutual respect. On a second note, the personality of Yajnavalkya, who is the main person in Brahadaranyaka Upanishad, is a shining example of tremendous social skills too. He ran a huge Gurukula for years and years. That is how he took part in so many conferences, conventions, get-togethers of scholars and court of Janaka and elsewhere. And he brought a lot of funds to expand the Gurukula. You may think of him as, founder of a big university of those days. And he had terrific social skills, leadership qualities, and he liaisoned with a wide range of people, attracted students, impacted parents of prospective students. was a figure highly adored in his locality for many towns and cities around him. King Janaka was so eager to have a conversation with him on philosophical topics. So social skills were displayed by many rishis. It is wrong to imagine that every rishi probably sat inside a cave and meditated and then one day opened eyes and told people some truths. So, living in caves, maybe for some time here and there, and some rishis, otherwise, Upanishadic wisdom is to be lived in the busy society. You don't have to get carried away by the madness of the society, but be in the society, but do not be of the society. Be in the world, but not of the world, as the saying goes. Then we have, I found a couple of these and found that they are very good. Some author wrote about 7 components of high EQ. And there is a question with the high EQ, how are people different? And, and that author gives several answers. I picked up 2 or 3. With higher EQ, you will be more receptive. An example in Upanishads is Devas, Manushyas, and Asuras go to Prajapati, chapter 5 of Brihadaranyaka. They wanted some real valuable advice from Prajapati. Prajapati here represents the supreme God. And almost disappointing them, embarrassing them, Prajapati has no time for them. He just says, the monosyllable instruction. But they are receptive. They say if he has said the, we should not be hurt in our ego. It's not to get our pride hurt. On the contrary, let's reflect on this the. So there is the famous story Deva, Manavaha, Asuraha. Devas take it as Damyata. We must be self-controlled because in heaven a lot of pleasures are there. Just because pleasures are available, we should not overindulge. Manavas take the as dana. We must share our wealth with the needy. Asuras rightly take the one single syllable the as dayam kuru. This daya could also go with empathy, a previous slide. We should be compassionate. We sometimes are too harsh, too violent. We kill, we loot. We should not do that. So, Damyata Datta Dayadvam is the upshot of the. So, first of all, they were very receptive. Second bullet says, if you and I have high EQ, this is Western literature, it says emotionally intelligent people welcome criticism. In Kenopanishad, there is a very interesting portion. The Guru says to a certain student, I don't think you know Brahman. Criticism. He pulls the leg of the student. Dabhramevapi nunam tvam vetta brahmano rupam. For a moment, the student is shaken, but he takes that criticism in right spirit, reflects a little, and then smiles. The Guru is testing me. Guru is checking whether I will be totally thrown off balance by his comment. He says to me, I don't know Brahman, but I know. Then this disciple gives an answer which is very puzzling. I don't say I know, nor do I say I do not know. No na vedeti vedacha. I know, I do not know. Yasya matam tasya matam matam yasya na vedasaha avidnatam vijanatam vidnatam ajavijana. Puzzling mantras come there. But above all, as relevant to this context, the student exhibits tremendous amount of acceptance of criticism. Okay, you think so? Okay, let me think about it. And upon thinking about it, the student realizes that the teacher didn't mean to insult me. He just wanted to shake me a little and find out whether I really am grounded in the highest wisdom. So he welcomes it. Likewise, we have another in that literature which I read for this webinar. The author rightly says those with high EQ, in addition to a good degree of IQ is necessary. You can't have too low IQ to function in this world. With a good degree of IQ, but very much supported by high EQ, the author says they exercise integrity. See, two people may be very bright, coming out of the same college, both were excellent in academics. Many times, don't we see one of them goes on doing corrupt things, becomes notorious. Another person stays honest. High academic achievements do not ensure honesty, nor do they ask you not to be honest. Let's not blame. Academics don't, academics do not either make you honest or make you dishonest. This honesty and dishonesty have to be picked up through a different training. And in Chandogya Upanishad, fourth chapter, fourth section, and fourth mantra, we have a young boy, maybe 10-year-old or 8-year-old, asking his mother Jabala, Mother, I am going to Haridrumata and I'm going to ask him to take me as a student in his Gurukula. But normally these people ask a question, who is your father? What is your Varna? Etc. What do I say? And she says, I lost your father, my husband, long back. And in the short duration when we lived together and I got you as a son, so many guests used to come and I always used to be so busy. So I never asked what our Gotra is. So the whole issue was about knowing the Gotra, not even Varna, Gotra. For example, among Brahmanas, there may be Vishwamitra Gotra, Vasishta Gotra, Bharadwaja Gotra, Shandilya Gotra. There are so many Gotras. So the boy asked Satyakama, what is my Gotra? The Guru is likely to ask me before admitting me. I don't know. Just say you are son of Jabala. That's all that is said in the Upanishad mantras. Unfortunately, certain interpretations have been given which are not supported either by the Upanishad or by Shankara Bhashya. Some interpretation is around that, well, she had, relation with many men and so on. There's no basis for that. She lost her husband within a year or so of marrying and raised this boy and some social conditions. Maybe her husband and she moved away to a distant town. So she didn't have any elders all to ask. Gotra. So if he asks Gotra, just say, you are Jabala's son. And the boy walks to Haridrumata's ashram. He had all the possibility. If anybody else with fickle mind, with low EQ, with easily getting disturbed by the prospect of being rejected, would have cooked up. I will say I am Kashyapa Gotra. How can the Guru verify? I'll say I am Kashyapa Gotra and this and that. My father was such and such. He knew the four Vedas, blah blah. All that could have come, but he has a certain emotional stability and has a trust and belief in truth. He says to himself, I will say exactly what my mother says or said. So he says, I am Satyakama. I am son of Jabala. I asked my mother about my Gotra. She said, just say to your Guru that you are son of Jabala. Satyakama asmi, Jabali asmi or Jabala asmi. And Haridrumata, the Guru, is more than happy. He says, if you are adhering to truth and you are fearless, you are ready to face the possibility of being rejected in the Gurukula, then you must be of the best parents, you must be best lineage, you must be of the best Gotra, best Varna, best, or it doesn't matter. I want such honest boys to join. So right away he accepts. Therefore, EQ is what makes us grow in human values. IQ helps us gain knowledge of subjects and we can misuse them also and we can go on the corrupt path. But what can protect us is greater ability to see the consequences. When we tell lies, when we do wrong things, how many psychological consequences happen? Everybody knows. But if we have low EQ, we say, oh, nothing will happen. And then pay through the nose later on. Lastly, you have one more input. High EQ means you are self-motivated. Going out of Upanishads, Bhagirath faced so many obstacles, but he remained self-motivated. He didn't run to some advisor or some godfather. Every time Ganga got stopped on the way, he again did tapas, brought Ganga to where he had to take it. Nachiketa in Kathopanishad we already saw, staying firm. Indra in Chandogya several times was going back home. Then again he wondered, no, I think I haven't got it fully with all clarity. He comes back to Prajapati and gets the highest Brahma Vidya. Therefore, certain resilience, certain ability to stay self motivated is also an aspect of high EQ. And part of it, that resilience or that staying self motivated in spite of obstacles implies, you see, stress management too. We are able to manage our stress. If we have high EQ, certain noble ways of looking at things give to us the courage. Otherwise, we give up too soon and compromise. That's the problem. With that, we close this presentation and I throw it open for questions or comments. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
There are few questions on the chat box.
Oh, I see.
And here also there are few.
Yeah. Yes, so here, what if your career makes you introverted? If the career it tends to make you introverted, you should plan out some hours on a weekly basis to go extrovert. That is, meet people, socialize, learn. Socializing doesn't mean only fun and fun. Some fun has to be part of it. So, extracurricular activities during our college days, later hobbies, etc., are a must. So, we must find ways. Our career, suppose our career keeps us all the time between four walls, we better think of another career or change the company. Because such jobs spoil our holistic balance. We don't grow holistically. So we have to find ways to develop ourselves in a holistic manner. That was one question. Alumni says, it is sad you don't need to practice the words of the Upanishads. What the words of Upanishads? You already are. They are pointing to. You need to recognize it. Is there anything that can be done? Yeah, that is so true on the higher level. In fact, higher we go, there is less to do. but hardly any of us are at that level. The sublime, the ultimate teachings of the Upanishads, you are perfectly right. You understand it, and the job is done. It is only through understanding. For example, the most famous simile is given in the Vedanta is you are mistaking a rope to be a snake. Throw a beam of light and you understand there is no snake at all. It is only a rope, right? Just understanding is enough. But that is not so when you feel hungry. You cannot say, I just understand, I visualize some dosa and idli, some, roti and sabji. No, you have to see that food comes. So there are issues in life where, philosophically speaking, some are subtle. Subtler the issue, understanding is all that is needed. Like husband and wife have certain conflict over some ideological issues or something. With more understanding, their way they speak and the way they deal with each other, treat each other, changes on its own. Root cause is misunderstanding. Whereas physical things, lot of functional things. Therefore, today's topic was neither very gross nor too subtle. Today's topic of emotional intelligence is in the middle. So there are ways and means that we can enhance our emotional intelligence. For example, we are told when you are in darkness, when you feel low, come out, meet somebody, take advice from someone. So there we have to come out. We have to or call somebody, call someone and talk to him, talk to her, consult. Or there are things to do. Religious practices help sometimes. So there are things to do. I often say, listen to Vishnu Sahasranama. If not all, 10 minutes. Recite something. Last week we had the webinar by Dr. Chinmayananda, a young person, who spoke about the efficacy, power of stotras. Recite some hymn. It does something to us. Our emotions as though get purified. So emotional intelligence is a blend of understanding and doing certain things by body, by speech, and by mind. So what you read, there's no practice at all. That zero practice is truth on a very high level. Shankaracharya is emphatic on that. Technically, he calls it jnana and karma can never be combined. Jnana alone liberates you. The role of karma is zero. But he is talking on that Tattvamasi acting as the tool to liberation. Yes, it's an advanced topic. How there is nothing to do, no practice needed. Just by seeing, you are free. That's a very high plateau teaching of the Vedanta. Today's topic was not on that height. So one more question. Is there any standardized measure for EQ? Yeah. That's why EQ has a standard. There are institutions, I have never gone there though, but there are institutions, there are what they call instruments, not physical instruments, the psychological instruments, methods of, I guess, some questionnaire or some group discussion or some activities given, someone observes you. So there are standard methods in psychology, they call it instruments to measure your EQ. That's how 100 has been fixed by experts, and above 100 is uh, very good, above average, and below 100 is below average. The realm of emotions and behavior being so subjective, how good is the modern measures of EQ? They are pretty good. They may not be perfect, but they are pretty good. Psychology also has advanced a lot. You know, in corporate world, I have heard, I don't know details of it. There is something called 360-degree evaluation. Marshall Goldsmith and those authors who teach, who train CEOs have written about 360-degree evaluation of in corporate world, managers, executives, etc. So they are not only evaluated from subject knowledge point of view, knowledge of subject, how you deal with people, how your personal life could be. Of course, emotions are subjective, but any emotion will show in our behavior, right? However smart we may be, there is a limit to how much we can hide. We get caught, we get exposed. So these methods, I would imagine, put you in such a condition where you get exposed. Suppose you have weakness for wealth, I guess that there is some way where they will take you and suddenly you are into group discussion, but everybody is wearing gold and jewelry and diamonds, etc. And then they'll see you. Now videos are there. Now AI will do the job. The AI will see your facial expressions. You won't be able to focus on the discussion. You will be, "Hey, this girl also has, I think it is Ruby. She has this diamond. Oh, so you may hide your emotions, but what you are seeing. So, like that, facial expressions, how you reply, whether you have complexes, whether you have something in mind but you say something else, all that can be pretty much easily caught by one number of techniques. The psychologists can do a terrific job of that. And those measuring techniques are growing better and better. Oh, if we do not know Gotra, is there any way to go know the Gotra? I'm not an expert in this, but I think good astrologers can tell you. Oh no, astrologers can tell you Nakshatra and Rashi. For Gotra, oh, maybe astrologers would know some way to figure it out. Otherwise, normally we don't, and normally it's not required also. Sometimes you go to a temple and before doing the puja, he asks you what is your gotra because he has to do a sankalpa, the priest. And those who don't know the gotra will just say Shiva gotra, Vishnu gotra, some Rama gotra. Like that you say and you are done with it. But there may be some way. It requires your father, who was your grandfather, who was your great grandfather. But most houses, they don't have those records also. Whereas nakshatra and rashi can be found if you know the correct point of time when you were born. If that is known, and nowadays modern hospitals, I guess, record the exact time, This child was born 11:33 p.m. on such and such day, such and such month, such and such year. And you take it to nowadays computerized horoscopes come. They give you star and that Rashi, the group of stars. Okay. How to deal with bad thoughts? Yeah, all of us have some bad thoughts. We have to work on them. There are many things. Start with 10 minutes of asana, 10 minutes of pranayama, 10 minutes without fail of nama japa. Put them first in the day. Don't the morning, don't say I'll do in the afternoon. Afternoon, don't say I'll do it in the evening. No. Morning, before even you have your cup of tea, do one of the three. Then within the next hour, do the second. So pranayama, there is a pranayama called Nadi Shuddhi that can help both body and mind. Nama japa, mantra japa, and so on. And asana, because body and mind are interconnected. Bad thoughts cannot get so much strength if the body has done some kind of exercise, some yoga, Western exercise. It takes certain momentum away from those bad thoughts. Once the momentum is less, you will be able to handle them. You will be able to hold them by your hand as though. Yeah. If a mouse is running around very fast, you can't catch it. But somehow the mouse has slowed down. You will be able to catch that mouse. It's like that. So pranayama, asana, and nama japa I can suggest. Please show slide number. Number you have not written. Slide number once again. Which slide number one once again. Surely. It's just 2 seconds for me. Where is that? Go to share. Go to and then press here. So this is the title slide, but probably you wanted to see. Oh, this is the yeah. This is two. Did you want one or two? If your mic is on, you may say because I can't see other part of the screen now.
Swamiji, I wanted number one because I had missed that, but it is just the beginning slide.
Yeah,
So
number one is just the announcement. Yeah.
Thank you.
If you write an email to forum@yahoo.com, they will send the whole set of slides to you if you need. Yeah, so the first slide is just title. Sorry, I'm not able to. I think this is easier method. Okay. So I hope it's clear. Okay. Emotional intelligence, some insights from the Upanishads.
Guruji, this is
Yeah.
Anjana.
Tell
Can
me,
you
Anjana.
can you share the last but one slide, Guruji?
Okay.
It had points.
Oh, yeah. Last but one. Yeah, I can go there easily.
Okay.
This was the last. Dhanyavad. Did you mean this or one? Oh, one
the one
before this. One
12th.
before that. Correct.
12th.
12th. Yeah, this I will expand now. Got it?
Yeah, I can see now.
Wonderful. Yeah, that article, I can send you that. 7 components one person has written. It's really beautiful. I took these points from there.
Oh,
7 aspects or 7 components someone wrote. A lot of literature, excellent literature.
thank you, Guruji.
All right. So let me close these slides again, come back to, yeah, that's about it. Janakiram has answered. Detailed answer is available in Google, maybe to that issue of Gotra, I guess. Okay.
So,
So,
Swamiji, it covers basically what you have said also, but there are much more details given.
correct.
And finally, it says, with all that, if you cannot find them, Kashyapa Gotra, you tell.
Kashyapa
That is the
Gotra
answer
is,
given.
anyone can say Kashyapa Gotra?
Yeah, that's what it says. Kashyapa
I see.
Gotra, Uttapanna, you have to tell.
Oh, I see. I didn't know. I thought Shiva and Vishnu are used by anybody. Yeah. Thank you, anyhow. That's good. Yeah, Google can give answers to so many of these questions. Okay. All
Hari Om,
right.
Swamiji.
Hari Om.
I got one small doubt. If we do Nama Japa for 10 minutes, whether there is any chances of thinking negative things can be reduced?
Yeah. Nama Japa is never a waste. But if you are a little inspired by some saints, Ramakrishna was a champion of bhakti. In Maharashtra and northern Karnataka, this Nama Japa was, by these people like Akkalkot Maharaj, Samartha, What is that?
Ramdas.
Ramdas.
Yeah, Samat Ramdas.
Mm.
And our own in North Kerala, you have that Papa Ramdas, Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram, and so on. So many saints who held on to Namajapa with great vigor have left behind their teachings, how it helped. So you read a little of it and then sit, because it gives you a momentum. If you
Very
read
good,
Jnana Margis and then sit for Atma Chintana, again momentum will come in Atma Chintana. Suppose you read Ramana Maharshi's life, Ramana Maharshi's answers, and some answer appeals to you a lot. Close the book and sit and ask, who am I? Who am I? You will find that question, who am I, gets certain momentum, because you just have been inspired by someone who was a champion of self-inquiry.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, it will reduce negative thoughts. If it doesn't on same day, have the faith. It will slowly show its
Gradually.
effect. Gradually, and unexpected time, you will find that, hey, how come today I didn't get those thoughts? The effect of the japa you did some other day. All right, thank you all, and we'll meet again another day. Namaste.
Hari Om.